Hello, and welcome to another NEA Wednesday webinar. I'm Dr. ZaLonya Allen, President of the National Entrepreneurs Association, and I'm here today with Monica Levin, Inner Guidance Expert. How are you today, Monica?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes, thank you for being here. We are going to have an amazing conversation. But before we start, let me just tell people a little bit about you and your amazing background. So, Monica Levin is a compassionate, holistic health coach, inner guidance, communication coach, and a registered holistic nutritionist. She uses her intuitive abilities to empower individuals in assessing their inner wisdom. With over 20 years of experience teaching intuition, Monica believes that our inner selves hold the answers. By accessing this inner guidance, we become more confident, joyful, healthy, connected, and abundant, a concept she calls practical intuition. And she helps people express this unique self with body language. So that's a mouthful, very impressive. So, again, thank you for being here today and sharing your wisdom. And we're going to be talking about nonverbal communication and how entrepreneurs can use that to further their business.
Yeah.
So, let's start by having you talk a little bit about how you got into this kind of work.
Yes. Thank you for the question. As a child, I was sick a lot, and doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And when I went to university, my first degree was civil engineer. And when I was studying, I found a woman who was a holistic nutritionist rather than a traditional dietitian who helped me regain my health by doing a test in which we get messages from the body as to what foods to eat, what foods not to eat. And so I left the civil engineering behind and I became a registered holistic nutritionist and started to help people regain their health by changing the foods that they're eating. And after a while, I noticed that when people would ask me questions, I would just know the answers. I thought, oh, this is inner wisdom. We each have this. For example, if you've never eaten a particular food in your life, when you first taste it, your body will either accept it or reject it. Your body will tell you. But if you've been eating something all the time since you were young, you're not used to listening to your body on that regard. So I help people tune into that, into their inner wisdom to get answers about foods, health, entrepreneurship, everything in life. And through that, I discovered that as we express ourselves or as we receive information, the body talks also, nonverbal communication. So we receive messages from our divine minds, our angels, guides, God, whatever faith you have, from the part of us that has access to all knowledge. And we receive messages from the outside world through the body. And so I wrote the book, The Body Soul Bridge, which teaches those concepts and includes a chapter on body language. And today we're talking about body language and some tips that can help entrepreneurs feel better, first and foremost, and present themselves in a way that encourages communication, encourages bonding and connection.
That's amazing. So, what I hear you saying is that everything's connected, mind, body, soul. And what I've read many years ago in studying psychology is that the majority of communication is nonverbal. So, can you talk a little bit about that? How much of communication is nonverbal and why that is?
It's because we have different parts of the brain that interpret information that's coming in. So different studies have been done to determine what percentage is nonverbal, but anywhere from 60 to 97% is nonverbal. So when you think about that, if you're doing a presentation and you're writing down all the words and you're making your slides, people forget that there should be an extra column to talk about what hand gestures they're going to use, what body language they're going to use to fully engage the whole brain of the viewer or participant. So that's a huge percentage that's nonverbal, and nonverbal includes voice tone, ornaments like earrings or what I have in my background here, and body language. So when I'm on a video, I don't do it in front of my unmade bed because that communicates something.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So when most people think of nonverbal communication or body language, they're thinking of their body. So facial expressions, gesturing, posture, but you've included earrings, background. Can you go into that more? Like your
Yeah.
clothing, I guess all of that would factor in.
Yes. Uh,
Hairstyle.
yes. When I coach women in business, for example, I don't recommend huge loopy earrings. Keep things smaller because the subconscious mind, when we look at somebody, we will gaze in one of three ways. So, one way, we'll look at somebody between the eyes and up to the forehead. This is called business gazing. Then there's when you're familiar with someone, it's between the eyes. Your eyes will go between the other person's eyes and down to their chin or their mouth. And intimate gazing is when you look between the eyes and down to the suprasternal notch. So if you wear an open shirt, for example, with a big necklace or big earrings that draw the eye down, then whoever's looking, if I'm wearing that, whoever's looking at me, they will subconsciously look at my eyes while I'm talking, and they're going to look all the way down to my necklace. And this will make them feel as if we are more intimate than we are. Because the body, the mind, and the emotions are all connected. So, for example, what you're wearing is perfect for a networking event. You're there for business, correct? And so when you're looking at people to be perceived as competent, you keep your eyes, even when you're at an event, you keep your eyes on other people's foreheads and between their eyes. If you know them well, you can let your gaze come down a bit. But in a business setting, do not let your gaze come down to their chest, which also gets awkward when you go to conferences and they give you these lanyards that are down at your belly and people are looking down and then they will feel intimate and they don't know why. So
Interesting.
even with lanyards, I choke them up to the top, or when I came to your event one time, it had a clip on. So I keep that. So I keep it up here so that my name is visible. They don't have to look down my body to try and find my name because you don't want to be gazing at someone's belly. It can feel awkward for the recipient who's being gazed at. And then it makes you feel like you're more intimate than you really are. And you want to keep
Wow.
things professional. So having the thing the name tags up high or something clipped on up high, that way they can still look at you in the face and with a peripheral vision see what your name is.
Okay. So that's good advice. A lot of people are uncomfortable at networking events. I was just talking to an entrepreneur who said that she has social anxiety. Now, I know that you can use your body language to instantly improve your confidence and also to make yourself appear more confident even when you don't feel that way. So, could you just give people advice on how to use body language to feel more confident and look more confident?
Yes. As you said, body language not only affects how you're perceived, but it affects how you feel. So, how I feel gets emitted from me or projected. And if I want to change how I feel, I can change my body language. But before I do a presentation, before I go networking, before I even get in the car to go driving, I make sure that I stand in a high power stance, which is you can stand up. Well, maybe I'll do it. Okay, hold on. So you stand up with your hands on your hips in a superhero pose, with your chest up, and you stand in that pose for maybe 2 minutes. So before an event, I'll go into the bathroom, get into a stall, and I'll do that. And then breathe deeply down into your belly. Because if you're breathing up in the top of your chest, you're indicating to your body that you are in fight, flight, or freeze. We don't want that, right? We want to feel calm because from feeling calm, we feel more confident. But when you're standing in your superhero pose, allow your belly to expand and contract with your breath. Because when your belly expands and contracts, it means your diaphragm is moving, right? And it signals to your body that you're safe. It is safe to relax. And when you speak, try and speak more slowly. And as we're more relaxed, our voice tone goes down. When we get nervous, then we start to talk in the upper registers of our voice, which is also a nonverbal message. So you speak with the lower voice tone, which is why when we wake up, we have that nice deep voice because our vocal cords are relaxed after a night's sleep.
I
So speak
love
with your
that. I
lower.
love the superhero pose and that you're still doing that. So, okay, so that's a quick way to feel more confident. So, how do we project that confidence to others? Because some people, they enter the room and it's like, wow, who is that? The confidence is radiating from them. And then others, it's like they're more withdrawn and they kind of disappear into the wallpaper. Why is that? Talk about that.
You demonstrated that perfectly.
Okay.
You did this. They walk into the room and they project, right? Your chest is up, just like the superhero, but walking around like this can be a little aggressive. So we don't usually do that. It's for preparation. And then there are confident poses for when you are interacting. And so the chest up always. Do not cross your arms in front of your chest because that indicates that you're closed, that you're protecting yourself. Something I also see more with men than women. Men will stand with their hands over their nether regions like this.
Okay.
That is a very low confidence pose.
What is that communicating?
It's communicating that they're afraid that someone's going to kick them there. So it communicates fear and rather than confidence. So if you have to leave your whole body exposed, because then you're telling the world, I'm not afraid of you.
Mm.
Because this is where we're vulnerable. We have our vulnerable organs in our bellies, in our nether regions, right? When we don't feel confident, we want to curl up into a fetus pose. We want to close off our body here to protect our major arteries. And we want to cover our bellies because we don't want to be stabbed. This is really very primitive, very primitive. So if we stand with our bodies completely open, it signals to whoever's around that we are confident when we don't have any fear of being attacked. Because my body language speaks to your subconscious mind, the primitive part of you that's back in the cave, wanting to protect your fire and your food.
I love that you're going back that far because you're just triggering information in my mind that I learned in school, like the fight or flight response, and how that is also primitive. How when we're afraid, we're actually preparing for a physical confrontation. And, we're either going to take off running or we're going to fight, and that adrenaline gets going. So, yes, all of that makes sense. Thank you for that. That's so enlightening.
Yeah.
So, how do how do we look more authentic and natural? Because when you study body language and you're deliberately doing things like the steeple because you read somewhere, this is a power move. Like I automatically know, okay, this person's been studying body language. What is your thought on that?
Yes, I don't usually, I just happen to be steepling. I wasn't thinking about it. Often when I'm at an event, rather than steepling, I put my hands, I call it the choir position. More like this. To me, it's less obvious.
Okay.
But I try to keep my hands away from my belly. For example, if I have a purse, I don't wear the purse in front of me. If I'm carrying a book, of course, showing you my book. I don't carry it in front of me because this is blocking my belly and it's giving off the signal that I'm not confident. So I don't want to. Oh, I got lost in the question now.
No, that was great. Just,
Yeah,
information on how to look more authentic, like you're not studying body language,
right.
deliberately doing things. Because I think when you're confident, you probably just automatically do some of these things, right?
Right. And well, I think things become automatic. I mean,
Okay.
I've done workshops for CEOs and they say, well, I just feel comfortable like this,
Yes.
right? And then you say, but how are other people perceiving you, even if that makes you feel confident?
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. For example, if you want to look professional, do not come in with 5 bags. Think of the number one. We want one bag. So if you're going to a conference, put all of your things in one bag so that you have one over your arm. Do not have it in front of your belly. Do not expose your midriff. And do not block your midriff. I'm sorry, there's noise in the house, so it's distracting. So here I am. This is Monica distracted because there's noise in the house. So anyway,
We, we can't
when
hear
you're
it.
when you're coming into a conference, when someone offers me a bag, just like at your conference, I always say yes. And I hope it's one of the bags that I can put my arm in because then I can wear it over my arm and have all of my items in one bag.
That's great. That's probably why they offer tote bags at conferences. So we have them at our conference, and I just do it because everyone else does it. But you can put all your stuff in there so you look more organized, more put together. That's great.
Yeah. And when I go to conferences, I also am very intentional about what I wear because what we wear also gives a signal. So I tend to feel very cold. And often conference rooms are very air conditioned. So I don't want to be in an outfit in which I am freezing because then I'm going to be doing this, trying to stay warm. So I wear layers. I wear layers. So if I'm hot, I can take off my outer jacket. But I want to make sure I'm never cold because I have to keep my body open. And if I'm doing this, it sends the wrong signal.
Yes.
I went to this conference. It was one of these expos, and there was this beautiful young woman in this tiny little suit, and she was standing at the booth like this, you know, completely closed off. She was so cold. And that's not the way to be because it sends a signal that you're not confident. You're returning to the womb. You want to protect yourself
Yes. And
instead
then you'll
of,
wonder why people aren't approaching you. So there's so much I want to get to. I'm thinking about the eyes. People say the eyes are the windows to the soul. And sometimes when we talk to people, the eyes wander or they're not looking at us. Can you talk about maybe how to have better eye contact and what that communicates when you're looking all around? And if you're just shy and that's a challenge for you, what can you do?
Yes. Natural eye contact is probably 60 to 70% of the time. So it's not the goal to sit there staring someone down. That'll make them feel uncomfortable. So I just want to reassure people. And some people, especially people that are neurodivergent, have trouble with eye contact. And so they don't want to look. But it makes someone feel like they're not being seen and you're not listening to them. So if you have trouble with eye contact, look up here or between the eyes so you're not looking directly at their eyes. It'll be easier to have a little bit more eye contact if that's a challenge for you. But it is natural to look off to the side as you're remembering something or, oh, wait, I have to remember that for you. So you look off to the side. As we retrieve information, we look in different directions.
Okay. So we don't have to stand there and stare someone in the eyes because it's unnatural and it can be intimidating. So look
Yes.
away. Okay.
There are different ways to show people that you are engaged in listening to them. Um, Women and men do the nodding a bit differently. Women nod usually encouragingly when we're listening, and a triple nod is good. One, two, three. Then you pause, or you can tilt your head, which is a sign of I'm listening to you. So as you're talking, as someone's talking to you, you nod your head. Now, men studies have shown that a lot of men will nod when they agree rather than an I'm listening kind of thing. So if you are a business owner, for example, and you hear through the grapevine that people feel that you're standoffish and you're not warm, it could be that you're just not giving off the body signals that you're listening. And so when someone is talking to you and you're listening, again, keep your body open. And as they're speaking, nod 3 times, but not bobblehead. You don't want to do this.
Yes.
So nod 3 times, tilt your head, and it signals that you are listening. Because
Okay.
I've had CEOs say to me, I listen, I don't know why they don't think I'm listening. I'm looking at them, but it's not looking at someone isn't necessarily a sign that you're listening.
That's true because you could be thinking about something else. So I want to talk about the handshake. And what I've noticed lately is a lot of people are huggers. So you meet people that you've seen before, and it's like, okay, what are we doing? The handshake or the hug? Can you talk about which one is appropriate and when, and what's a proper handshake?
Yes. I'll talk about the different handshakes and then we'll talk about hugging self-defense. So for people that are not comfortable hugging. Now, the proper handshake, first of all, you don't want your hands all sweaty because that doesn't give off a good signal. It shows that you're nervous. So I often, before I meet someone, I'll have my hand beside my leg and I'll rub it on my pants to make sure it's dry. And I'll bring my hand up. And the second thing is the hand needs to be vertical. If I put my hand like this, I am signaling to someone that I feel like I'm superior to them. If I bring my hand in with my palm up and my wrist exposed, I'm saying that I'm deferring to them and that they're superior to me. Because again, the subconscious mind says, what are they exposing? If I expose my wrist, it's a vulnerable area. You could pull out your knife and cut my wrist. That's what the subconscious mind says. The part of me that's back in the cave, worried about my fire and my food. So you want to come on an equal footing, and your hand will be like this. If you ever notice in pictures of political figures, people are usually vying for the position on the right is the power position. So when you take a picture of somebody, whoever's on the right, which for the camera is on the left, and they're shaking hands, it will look like their hand is on top, even if their hands are vertical. And it'll make them look like they're the superior one to the subconscious mind.
Wow, you're giving us the secrets now.
But handshake and make sure that you match the grip of the other person. Do not crush them. Do not crush the hand of the other person. Just steady pressure that tells them that you're there. And bring your hand directly in all the way to their thumb. Don't give them your fingers. Don't give them the four sausage handshake. You want to give them your full hand. Yeah. And we have zones on the body that imply more intimacy. If I know someone, I've seen them a couple of times, I can shake their hand and put my other hand on the other side of their hand. So it's more physical touch, which creates more oxytocin in the brain, which is the bonding hormone. The more we touch someone, the more they're bonded to us, which is why, mothers are so bonded to their babies. They're hugging them, they're nursing them, they're gazing at them. And so we have eye contact. We touch somebody with a handshake. We want them to bond to us. I see you again. I touch your hand on the other side, and it's even more bonding. If I know you even better, I can maybe touch your elbow when I touch you. Or if you know someone even better, you can shake their hand and touch their upper arm. As soon as we go in for a hug, some people are not comfortable with that. If you notice their eyes doing this, don't hug them. And if you're not comfortable being hugged, hugging self-defense is you come in with your hand, turn your body sideways so there's nothing to hug, and you shake their hand. But if you shake their hand and you're facing them, which we try to do, right? But if you see them come, if you know that they're a hugger and you're not comfortable, turn your body so that they can't hug you. That's hugging self-defense.
Okay, interesting. This is great information. So we're almost out of time here, but I want to touch on the fact that you said you're an inner guidance coach, and you've mentioned to me about angels, spirit guides, the inner self. So personally, I'm all into it. Like, you're speaking my language. But for people who may not be as familiar, what are you talking about when you talk about angels and the spirit realm and all those sorts of things? And as a coach, how do you help people with that?
Yes. I say that as humans, we're of two minds. I have my human mind, and that's the part of me that is full of my conditioning from family, from society, from my experiences, and how I approach the world. So this is my human mind. And I think of this as like the driver of my car, my vehicle of Monica. And I can come across traffic jams and roadblocks and difficulties, which is fine. But if I have access to my divine mind, which is the part of me that is never born and never dies and has access to all knowledge, if I tune into this, it's like my GPS or my PGS, my personal guidance system. So I drive my vehicle, blah, blah, blah. I get an intuitive feeling and I check in with my divine mind. I learn how to ask questions and receive answers so that I know. Like when you have a gut feeling, a lot of us doubt it, right? So is that me? Is it my intuition? Am I receiving guidance, spiritual guidance? I don't know. So I teach people how to ask the question and receive the answer of Yes, it might be spiritual guidance. Or is it just, the voice of your grandmother who's in the back of your head saying, don't do that. What are you doing? That's probably not your spiritual guidance. Yeah. So I teach people how to tune in to receive answers about health and business and all aspects of life. And I have it all summarized in my book, The Body Soul Bridge, available on Amazon. And I created Oracle card guidebooks, and one of them is all about body language. So I wanted to point this out because I don't expect people to remember everything we went through today and everything else that's available. But I recommend getting the book. It's just a few dollars on Amazon. It's called Body Soul Bridge Oracle Guidebook Discovery. And just pull out a poker card deck, and in the morning, pull a card. And if you pull the Seven of Clubs, for example, it talks about confidence while sitting. And then I want you to pay attention to that body language skill for the day. And then tomorrow you pull another card, let your intuition tell you what you need to focus on. And it might be the Two of Spades, talking about your social media picture and how to pose for it and what is good body language for that. For example, I see a lot of people, lawyers and real estate people that have their photos like this. It's not good body language to have your picture like that. Or if you pull the Six of Hearts, it talks about the expression to look for, whether someone is wearing a mask or not, and how to recognize people's emotions when you're speaking to them, because we cannot hide our emotions. It's impossible. They will
Okay.
flash for even as little as 1/16th of a second, but the subconscious mind will catch it. And if you're paying attention, especially to eyebrows, you can catch people's expressions.
Okay, well, those look like some really great books. I'm going to have to get a copy myself. But the intuition, that is so important, and we all have it, but we don't all use it like we should. So the fact that you help people strengthen that connection and really dive into their intuition and listen to it and get advice and use that in life, I think that's great work that you're doing. So,
Thank you.
where can people get in touch with you if they want holistic coaching, inner guidance coaching, body language coaching? How do we get in touch?
Yes, you can go to my website, monicalevin.com. And you can also call me, text me, 248-656-2505. And I do sessions in person in Wixom, Michigan, and via Zoom, because we can do sessions this way, whether it's body language, as you saw today, or inner guidance communication coaching.
All right, awesome. Again, thank you for joining me, Monica. This has been an amazing conversation, and I look forward to talking with you again in the near future.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you guys for watching and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.